Chapter 16. When truth is accepted, it leads to the treasures of his heart. From Case Solved. Mystery of the Treasures of His Heart, 31st of July 2024. Introduction. Truth is never neutral. When it reaches a person, it asks for a response. Some receive it gladly, but only for a moment. Others let it take root and change the direction of their lives. And some, like Amanda, hear the warning clearly, yet still drift back to old patterns, proving how easily truth can be lost when the heart is not prepared to hold it. This chapter follows two movements. The first shows what happens when truth lands on rocky ground, when someone recognizes the voice of the Creator, admits it, even agrees with it, but still chooses the easier path. The second movement turns inward, as the Creator leads Deborah on a walk of remembrance through her own lightning events. These moments, painful, disorienting, and often misunderstood at the time, were the very points where her path was shaped and her creation purpose was activated. Together, these two themes expose a simple reality. Truth is not only what we hear, it is what we keep, and the cost of losing it is far greater than most realize. This chapter invites the listener to look honestly at their own life, at the warnings they received, the events that shaped them, and the truths they may have set aside, and to ask whether those moments were invitations from the Creator that still need to be answered. Warning.
The truth will cut deep, like a knife, and many will be bewildered. Those who reject it will fall further into deception, eventually leading to despair. Those who truly seek the truth must ask the Creator of all to reveal it directly to their hearts and be willing to receive it.
Case. A truth received, then lost on rocky ground.
I have just come from a woman who had a near-death experience. There was one person she had been unable to forgive, and she said she went to hell because of it. The Lord has given her another chance.
What did she see in hell?
I don't know yet. She is going to phone me later. But she says she was inside hell, and she will never be the same again.
I would like to know if she saw anyone burning in hell. Atheists say, how can a God of love let people burn? Does that even make sense to you? Think logically. In the book Mystery of Life, the Creator also spoke about hell, saying,
There is no hell with burning fire. The hell you will experience will be knowing that you did not manage to find the one through real, challenging experiences. The hell department will be a different section that will hold all those who did not find the pearl they agreed to seek and find while on their earthly quest.
In the book Mystery of the Angels, it was already established that hell will be much like what is described in 1 Enoch 22, where Enoch saw 4 hollow places, where the souls of the children of men were together, 3 of them dark and 1 bright.
And thence I went to another place, and he showed me in the west another great and high mountain, and of hard rock. And there were 4 hollow places in it, deep and very smooth. 3 of them were dark and 1 bright, and there was a fountain of water in its midst. And I said, How smooth are these hollow places, and deep and dark to view? Then Raphael answered, one of the holy angels who was with me, and said unto me,
These hollow places have been created for this very purpose, that the spirits of the souls of the dead should assemble therein, yea, that all the souls of the children of men should assemble here. And these places have been made to receive them till the day of their judgment and till their appointed period, till the great judgment comes upon them.
Then the Creator of all again spoke about hell, saying,
Outside this earth project, the Creator of all is the light. When you exit this project, when you wake up, your works will be judged. Those who rejected us, whether by choice or through their deeds, will not be able to stand in His light. They will remain outside the gate, and that is where the darkness will be, because you are outside His light, outside His presence. You rejected the only true light, so you will not be able to see Him. That separation will be your torment. By your own choice, you will dwell in darkness, gnashing your teeth in regret. That will be your hell. not fire, but the pain of being cut off from the one who created you. The disappointment, the resentment toward yourself, that will be the torture. And this is what we are trying to prevent. That is why the truth must come forth. You agreed to enter this earth project, to be tested, to see if you are worthy. And so, you create your own outcome. When the reset happens, or when you close your eyes for the last time, your works and deeds will be measured. You knew us before you came to earth, and you loved us then. But while you've been on this earth quest, designed to test the true condition of your heart, you need to open your heart so we can help you remember our love to you.
Then why do you say, "Go tell my people that hell is real"?
Because people will be resentful of their own choices, of being outside my light, outside my presence. That separation will feel like hell.
I also asked the Creator why people teach and claim that they have seen others in a burning hell. He explained it to me in this way. In dreams, you experience things like flying through the sky, falling off a bridge, or seeing objects far larger than they are in real life. Everything is exaggerated. Why? Because he is drawing your attention to the key elements within the dream. So the Creator said to me that he shows an extreme picture of hell to some people to wake them up because they do not realize the cost of not being part of the bride. Remember, to be chosen as part of the bride, where you inherit everything Jesus received, you raised your hand with that intent before you came to earth. With this agreement, you chose your trials and tribulations so that your heart could be tested to see whether you would be found worthy to receive the authority to sit with Jesus on his throne. So an extreme warning of hell is meant to wake them up and bring them back to truth. Otherwise, only disappointment awaits. You loved him then, and now your heart is being tested to see if you can become part of the chosen. The chosen are those who have already passed the heart test. Right now, there are mainly two groups of people on earth, the potential bride and the chosen. The bride consists of those who requested to enter this earth project in order for their hearts to be tested, to see whether they might become part of the chosen. The chosen are those who volunteered for a task before they arrived here. They entered this earth project to complete the agreed assignment, and they carried it out with purpose and obedience. You have to understand, you existed before you came. The Creator said to me that I was the first Deborah in heaven and will be the last Deborah on earth. So I was a woman before I came to earth. You do not choose your gender when you arrive here. You already existed as male or female before you came. I even wrote a petition to the Creator on behalf of those who reject him, asking that he consider forgiving them as he taught us, because life without him will be dark and empty, and there will be no light for them. I asked the Creator to reserve the lake of fire, as we commonly call it, only for the Satans, the Anunnaki. There is a lake of fire, but it is not meant for humans. Hell, the lake of fire, is reserved for the Anunnaki, the Satans, their corrupt offspring, and the fallen angels. The Creator revealed that the Anunnaki Council is the Satans. Just as the bride is a collective entity, the Anunnaki Council is the Satans. They sinned against the Creator. They entered this earth project without permission, and then they corrupted the humans the Creator had already placed here. They sinned against him. The lake of fire is for them. Think logically about the God you know and love. Do you really believe he will let people burn just because they are angry with him, or naive, or do not understand his ways, and then throw them into a fire to burn forever? It does not even make sense. Do you understand that the Bible was compiled by the Roman Catholic Church?
Yes, I do.
In the King James Bible, the Old Testament term Sheol is translated as hell 31 times, and it is translated as the grave 31 times. Sheol is also translated as the pit 3 times. Modern Bible translations typically render Sheol as the grave, the pit, or death. So Scripture was manipulated into a burning hell narrative.
Are you aware that of 15.7 million Jews worldwide, only 3 to 4 million follow traditional Torah and Talmud Judaism, while more than 10 million reject the Torah entirely and define their identity through culture, ethnicity, or history, not the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob? Remember, these Jews consist mainly of 2 tribes, Judah and Benjamin, with some Levites. So where are the other 10 tribes of Israel? More than 700 years before Jesus was born, the northern kingdom of Israel fell to the Assyrians, which led to the exile and eventual disappearance of the 10 tribes. Today, we refer to them as the lost tribes of Israel. For example, here in South Africa, the Dutch who arrived in 1652 were revealed to be descendants of Ephraim, and the French Huguenots, who arrived around 1688, are descendants of Judah. Through this, the Creator drew our attention to Ezekiel 37, the 2 sticks, Judah and Ephraim, which will cause the dry bones to rise. The Creator said to me that the books will open the Red Sea for the bride across the world, leading them through to the Promised Land. But the Moses narrative with the plagues will also unfold in South Africa.
Why do you say plagues are going to come?
Because the Creator said that the plagues, as in the days of Moses, will take place in South Africa as a sign to the world that He exists. If they do not understand the plagues, I will tell them the story of the 10 plagues, because the Creator has spoken to the Pharaoh of this land, Cyril Ramaphosa, saying,
Let my people go.
If you do not listen, you stand against the Creator of all and against His people. 3 plagues are going to come to South Africa: locusts, darkness, and the death of the firstborn. Everyone who stands against the Creator and His people will be affected. The Creator revealed to me that this land belongs to the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and they should take their hands off us. He is issuing a warning, and the plagues will come. The showdown will take place in South Africa, and the world will watch. A group of people will rise and move with Him. He refers to them as the Gideon 300, and the history of South Africa will change. Do you remember the word I received that I would change the history of South Africa?
Yes, I remember when it was spoken to you.
The Creator of all said,
You know how a gear of a machine works. It is the smallest gear that has the biggest role. You are the smallest gear with the most important role.
The Creator takes on the British royal family and the South African government within these books. Do you know who the beast is that everyone will worship?
Is it the system?
It is classified under a name often referred to as the black nobility. One part of the beast is the royal families. People already worship them. Then there are the Khazars and the Ashkenazi Jews, who are linked to global power structures and Zionism, and are seen as having taken on the Jewish identity within the systems of the beast. Remember, only a small portion of the global Jewish community, approximately 0.25% or around 50,000 people, follow a strictly traditional Torah-observant path. The rest identify in various ways. Some follow rabbinic traditions rooted in the Talmud, while others define their Jewish identity through culture, ethnicity, history, or Zionism.
Now I understand why a certain prophetic boy, when he was 12 years old, asked for a photo of Prince Harry to be taken away from him. His mother believed it had something to do with the end times and the Antichrist.
Prince Charles, the newly appointed King Charles, is the Antichrist.
Is he not too old?
When the Creator of all revealed to me that it was Charles, and he simply said Charles without any title, I was stunned. I even said to the Creator, how can that man with his big ears be the Antichrist? I had never, at any point in my life, even considered Charles to be the Antichrist. Then I came across a book and a YouTube video, The Antichrist and a Cup of Tea by Tim Cohen, where he presents his in-depth research on Charles, his coat of arms, and the symbolism he connects to Revelation 12 and 13. Look up the coat of arms of Charles, Prince of Wales, which contains the features matching the beast described in Revelation and Daniel, including 7 heads, 10 horns, a leopard-like body, bear-like feet, a lion-like mouth, a little horn, and a red dragon. When using certain Greek and Hebrew numerological systems, the title Charles, Prince of Wales totals 666 in both. During 2020 and 2021, he gave multiple speeches, especially at the World Economic Forum, speaking about why a reset and a Marshall-like plan for nature, people and planet are needed, all under the banner of climate change. You have to understand, he only became king this year. There will come a time, very soon, when the Satans will give him great power. And the Bible warns us,
For false Christs and false prophets will rise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect.
it is a serious matter for the Creator. What happened to our people in the concentration camps and the relentless persecution they faced. He demanded that the British royal family apologize to the descendants of the Afrikaners. Did you know they have never apologized to the descendants of our people, the Huguenots, the Boers and others, who suffered and died in those concentration camps?
No, I did not know that.
A few people have raised this issue before, writing open letters to them, but these were met only with silence.
Why have not heard a word or even a hint of an apology for one of the most brutal attempts at total genocide ever recorded in the history of man?
When the British discovered gold and diamonds in South Africa, whom did they attack? The Boers, the Afrikaners. And who do you target when you want to take control of a country? The people you believe are the owners of the land. They did not attack the black tribes. They went after the Afrikaners, whom they viewed as the owners of the land. In the book Mystery of the Bride, the Creator revealed that in Revelation 12, the man-child refers to the Protestants, the French Huguenots. They were the first carriers of truth, and they were persecuted. Then the dragon wages war against the offspring. In this interpretation, that dragon, the British Empire, came for us, burned our farms and placed our women and children in concentration camps where thousands died. The Creator is using our history, what we had to endure, as an example to illustrate how the Afrikaner, as descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, were consistently persecuted, much like the narrative of Israel in the Bible. He's going to change the history of this country. As these people remember who they are, they will rise like one man, like the Gideon 300.
But what about all the women who were in a concentration camp and, like my grandmother, who still hold bitterness toward the English to this day? And what about those who have already died, who endured death, rape, and witnessed babies being killed?
Remember, the Creator sees and knows what is in our hearts. I was an atheist after he deliberately convinced me for more than 2 years that he did not exist. Later, he revealed to me that I had agreed to this before I came to earth, so that I could help those who are trapped in atheism and understand their worldview. And he came back for me after I completed my atheist training. So the Creator knows why you carry something in your heart, and he knows the pain and trauma behind it.
Yes, I understand.
There are certain things I cannot tell you, because the Creator said you will not be able to understand his deeper mysteries unless you are married to him. Without that union, you will not understand.
Then you must marry us.
Are you ready to be married to the Creator of all and to Yeshua on 31st July 2024?
We must first cleanse ourselves.
Jesus, please wash them clean with the blood of the Lamb. You only need a willing heart. Are you willing?
Yes, I am.
Pray the following.
Creator of all, my Father in Jesus, Yeshua, I choose today, the 31st of July 2024, to marry you both. Fill me with your Spirit and seal me as your bride. Seal me, protect me, and love me as I love you also.
The Creator spoke to me about my past and explained why I had not been permitted to marry. I needed to be kept reserved because He had placed a seed within me. He sees these books as children, which He refers to as Jonathan David, a covenant with the bride. He also speaks of the books as an Isaac, and my life is woven into both the little scroll and the book of truth.
You said this morning that your calling and your destiny will come together. How do you know that?
You need to write down on a piece of paper what is my creation purpose. Because if you know your creation purpose, you will know your destiny. In my case, my creation purpose was revealed to me in 2010. It is to write the little scroll of Revelation, the one that lay open in the angel's hand in Revelation 10, which John ate. Likewise, in 2012, it was revealed to me that I would write the book of truth mentioned in Daniel chapter 10. The rest of this book series forms part of the book of truth. So these books are my creation purpose. And what is my destiny? My destiny is to walk in my creation purpose, these Jonathan David covenant books, and to lead His bride, because through them the Creator will open the Red Sea for her. So if He tells you your creation purpose, you will be able to connect your destiny to it. He has repeated this again and again.
Tell the people to write down their questions on a piece of paper, and I will answer them.
There must be evidence that they asked. My question is, will you do that? Will you at least write your question on a piece of paper?
I will write it down.
The more you write down for Him, the more He will answer.
I find it interesting that you still hold to the same view you had before, that when the tribulation starts, Jesus will come for us in the middle of it. You are still on the same page?
I'm going to stay behind because I have another task to fulfill on earth. But I also want to say to the bride, those who long to be in His army or who have a passion and a heart to be part of it, that they can ask Him to stay behind as well. He will seal you and protect you, and you will be able to help others. I will remain to help those who rejected the truth. And more than that, He revealed to me that those who choose to stay behind to assist others will not only be sealed and protected, but will also receive double the reward because of their selfless actions.
My son reminds me a lot of you. He also struggles to communicate with other kids, and he is being kept away from certain friends. He is separate.
If your son can read my Evidence of Life book, he will see that I prayed many times to the Creator, asking why He kept people away from me. I prayed, why am I alone? Why do you do this? Why am I on this earth without someone who can love me? I asked Him again and again. When He reads about my journey in the journal Evidence, the outcry of my heart, the difficult path, and compares it with what is happening in my life now, he will understand why his own path feels so hard. Through those difficulties, you are being prepared to walk in your creation purpose. Remember, your son agreed to this sacrifice, being isolated and separated before he came to earth, because his sacrifice has a big purpose. He is not part of the world. That is why it is difficult, but the moment the breakthrough comes, everything becomes clear. You chose your trials and tribulations for a specific purpose. The trials and tribulations I chose were to prepare me for my creation purpose. Through those difficult years, the Creator formed a pearl inside me, because Jesus is the pearl of great price, and your pearl must match His pearl. The only way to reach that stage is through sacrifice and endurance, just as a real pearl is formed.
It makes sense because my son says he struggles to communicate with the other kids, and he wants to know what is going on.
He is a prophet in training. In other words, it will feel as if he is in a pit. He must simply accept it. When others laugh, he will cry. When he cries, others will laugh. He is set apart. He is comfortable being by himself because the Creator wants to speak to him. He is a Samuel.
It troubles us a lot.
Have you ever read about a child with a prophetic calling? He needs to read about it to understand fully. You cannot compare a child with a prophetic calling to any other child. He was probably chosen, not merely called. There is a difference. If you were chosen, it means you actually volunteered and agreed to the task. Remember, the Creator will give you more than you can ask or pray for. So if you go to Him in prayer and you pray honestly from your heart, He will honor that prayer. Because when you pray sincerely, those words were already placed in your heart to pray. As you speak them, they are being requested, but the seeds of those words were planted inside you before you came to earth, tied to your chosen life path. In 2012, I wrote the following prayer in my journal evidence. Father, I want it written down. I desire a relationship with you, a real relationship like the one that Enoch didn't even have with you, because I'm asking double Enoch's relationship with you. I long for you to talk to me more. Please grant me the gift that I can walk closer to you than any human has ever walked with you. I need you so much, I will die without you. And you know what? This prayer will be honored because I prayed it out of the depth of my heart. And remember, I never knew that anyone would see all my prayers and His words. The content of my journal evidence was my intimate walk with the Creator, and He is busy proving Himself through my life.
Yes, that is amazing. When will the fireworks in this country begin and the things written in Revelation?
You need to follow the books. He revealed to me that the publication date of the Mystery of Life book will mark the beginning of the tribulation, because by then the content of the little scroll will have been released. By the time the book Mystery of the Book of Wars is published, we will already be seeing the effects of His judgments in South Africa. The words spoken within these books will reveal what is to come, and they will be fulfilled.
So when can the rapture occur?
I believe the Creator will tell me later, but we will know the season. He has said before that it will be in the middle of the tribulation. Do you realize how people will panic if about 10 to 15% of the world's population suddenly vanishes?
You know Jesus' words. Many are called, few are chosen. I kept asking the Lord if I am chosen. Then someone prophesied over me that I am chosen and that I will help bring in the bride. I cried a lot when she gave me that word. And everything I am hearing from you now is so special and so deep. And I believe every word you are saying.
Do you remember Captain Riddle from 12 years ago? May I explain the mystery to you? This Captain Riddle event was a riddle event, and riddle events are easy to recognize. There are those moments when the Creator of all has spoken something specific to you, and you know it is the truth. Then, suddenly, everything seems to fall apart, and you cannot understand why the exact opposite is happening. These events usually carry deep pain because you struggle to connect the word the Creator gave you with the circumstances unfolding in front of you. In my case, the greatest love story was revealed to me after 12 years. Jesus came to me through Captain Riddle, and if you read the words He gave me about Captain Riddle and replace his name with Captain Yeshua, you will see that the Father was writing love letters to reveal to the bride who Yeshua truly is. During March 2024, before the revelation was given to me that Captain Riddle is Captain Yeshua, I demanded to know the truth about Captain Riddle after 12 years. You know what the Creator said to me? 1. He had big aspirations in his heart and was therefore tested to see what he would do with the bride of Jesus. And I was tested to see if I would still say, yes. The Creator repeatedly questioned, will you marry him? While being presented with the worst case you can imagine.
That was a very difficult situation. I still remember your tears. You were broken for months.
But in these difficult events that you do not understand, when you see no light at the end of the tunnel, you need to ask the Creator, why would I have chosen this? What is the outcome meant to be? The greater the sacrifice, the greater the outcome. Let me explain to you a difficult event with a great outcome. Within these books, the Creator creates events by design so that I can experience the raw emotion of the event. Just like any other event you face over your lifetime, where some of these events or circumstances last for months or years. In order for the Creator to reveal a mystery, He requires from me to go through a short event, endure it with raw emotion, and then understand the mystery of Him when the light of the tunnel comes into sight. During the documentation of the book Mystery of the Angels, I was in Hartenbos, and while walking on the beach, a thought came to me that I should ask for a rainbow. Since the Creator had given me many rainbows before, where I would simply think of one and it would appear, I prayed and asked to see a rainbow. But this time, no rainbow appeared. It upset me, and I closed my heart towards Him for a few days. Then, 3 days later, He came in, revealed the name of the white stone in Revelation, and gave me the 7 rainbow covenant of Abraham and Sarah, the perfect covenant. I was completely overwhelmed by His grace. I realized how upset I had been for not seeing a rainbow. Yet, He showed me that sometimes you do not receive what you ask for because something far greater is waiting for you. In my case, it was the 7 rainbow covenant. Only afterwards did I realize that the thought of asking for a rainbow had come from the Creator in the first place, because He wanted to set the scene to reveal His 7 rainbow covenant. Also, within the book Mystery of the Angels, the Creator revealed the name on the white stone mentioned in Revelation 2 verse 17.
To him who overcomes, I will give some of the hidden manna to eat. And I will give him a white stone, and on the stone a new name written which no one knows, except him who receives it.
Do you know what the name is? Yeshua, Jesus, overcame, and He was given the bride, a white stone. And on the bride, a new name was written, Sarah. In the same way that Yeshua set the example, the bride must also overcome to be part of Sarah, His beloved bride. Yeshua is the second Abraham for the next project, and his bride will be called Sarah in the millennium. And Abraham, who Jesus is, placed a divine seed within me. From this seed come the books He is giving me, which He refers to as His child, His Jonathan David covenant with the bride. It is like His Isaac because the outcome will be Israel, the true bride. Do you understand? And do you know what I asked Him? Why did I have to wait 12 years for an answer? Do you know what He said to me?
The 12 tribes?
Yes. Each year I had to walk through one of the tribes. I had to make a sacrifice to bring in the true Israel.
These things are big. I know why I needed to meet you, but I also know that sometimes I irritate you.
No, you don't. There's only one thing that bothers me about what you do, and that is, you often say you're going to do something, but then you don't follow through. You speak the words, but your actions don't match. And, when you do that to others, you're also doing it against the Creator. So how can He trust you with something important if you don't carry it out? Understand this. If you can overcome this tendency, if you can truly start doing what you say you'll do, then you're passing a vital test. To hear His voice, you must overcome this. Your walk must align with your talk.
If you do this, everything tied to your creation purpose and destiny will be activated.
You need to overcome this and make it right. He's waiting for you to learn the lesson, because if He wants to use you and you're indifferent or unwilling, He can't use you. You need to wake up.
I know. I need to do the thing right.
You can pray until you're blue in the face and beg Him for a breakthrough, but if you can't treat people right or follow through on your word, it won't come, and He can't give. He can only give you the desires of your heart if you overcome this. He tests you through the people around you. The sooner you deal with it, the sooner He can release what you've been asking for. He already knows what's in your heart. He knows you long to hear His voice, and you will hear Him, and you will see Him. Just do this properly. Do it once and for all. From now on, starting tomorrow, just say, Jesus, from tomorrow, help me to do this right. Because of this habit, saying things to people and not following through, you're not able to hear the right voices. He begins to narrow your circle because only certain people are meant to be connected to you. Not everyone is sent by Him. You must learn to discern, and if you can't, then ask Him, because you need to connect with the right people, and you also need to connect them to the right people.
Not everyone who comes to you with a story is from me.
I've started to realize that over the past 6 months. You're absolutely right.
Start tomorrow. Walk your talk. When you say something to someone, follow through. You know in the moment you speak whether you intend to do it or not. What frustrates me is that you can't commit to a commitment, and that frustration, the Creator feels it even more deeply.
Of course, I understand that.
I know in your heart you want to be part of His army.
You will be part of my army. But you need to shape up now. I need people who listen when I speak.
Over the last 20 years, almost every time I brought truth to someone, they rejected me for speaking it. At the time, I could not understand why people reacted that way. But since the Creator revealed to me that they were rejecting Him, the truth, and I felt the pain of it, I began to see their rejection from a different perspective. He wants to speak to you. You simply need to be prepared to receive it. He is willing to speak, but are you willing to listen?
Now I understand why I need to be on time and stay focused. I once received a prophetic word saying that I would be a last-minute end-time prophet. And it wasn't said just once, but multiple times. Over the last 3 months, I felt a very strong sense that I must keep my word when I give it to people, because it matters.
You need to be awake now because things are going to start happening quickly. Stop running after everyone who has a story. Pause and ask the Creator, who are the ones you are sending to me? Ask that specifically because you are being consumed by unnecessary things. You heard tonight that there were moments in the meeting when the Creator spoke directly to you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
Deborah shared the truth, and even the Creator spoke to Amanda directly, offering a warning.
Not everyone who comes to you with a story is from me.
Although she received this truth and accepted it at the time, she chose to disregard the warning, thereby becoming an enabler of the spread of deceptive teachings. Case: the lightning events revealed in a walk of remembrance. Deborah's cat, Wolfie, was shot by an unapologetic neighbor in 2021, with the clear intent to kill him. The Creator revealed that this event was a lightning event. Although painful, it was an event she had agreed to before coming to Earth. The Creator also revealed that the shooter had an arrogant heart, and that he used that arrogance to serve his design, to activate Deborah's final journey into the fullness of her creation purpose. Shortly after the conversation with Amanda, the Creator told Deborah that he wanted to do a walk of remembrance. She assumed he meant a walk down memory lane, especially since that morning he had revealed that he would be finishing this book. So when Deborah asked where he wanted to begin this walk, he took her, within seconds, back to the day her cat Wolfie was shot, on 26th April 2021. In that moment, Deborah relived the event. The pain returned with full force. From this remembrance of the lightning event with Wolfie, the Creator began to walk with Deborah through a series of lightning events. Each chosen lightning event carries an effect that redirects one's path towards their creation purpose, for these events are designed to train and equip you, even though they can be profoundly challenging. Deborah's lightning events were the Jack the Ripper event, the Lewinsky event, which resulted in Deborah's Great Tsunami, the Captain Riddle event, the Lost in France event, Wolfie's shooting event, the tornado scene, and the I love you phone call.
When I think about the people involved in these lightning events, I realize they were simply individuals who crossed my path along the journey. And although their actions caused me pain and disappointment, I still hope they will make it into the bride. So, you must look back over your life and identify your lightning events. Which moments caused trauma or pain, or brought about a divine activation, as the seventh one did for me? These lightning events are the life-altering moments upon which you made significant decisions. They are the lightning events, the thunder moments. Do these lightning events connect to the 7 elements of the Spirit of God according to Isaiah 11:2, the Spirit of the Lord, wisdom, understanding, counsel, might, knowledge, and the fear of the Lord? Are you linking your 7 spirits to my 7 lightning events as an illustration for your bride, showing how they must discern how each element of your spirit connects to each lightning event? For if a lightning event is of such importance that it directly shapes one's path towards their chosen creation purpose, then the elements of your spirit must surely be prominent in the outcome, in what you witnessed or learned through those events. When I look back at my lightning events, I clearly recognize the 7 elements of your spirit from Isaiah 11:2. Each event reveals either the outcome you intended or the specific spiritual treasure you wanted me to gain. The Spirit of the Lord. During the I love you phone call, you filled me with your Holy Spirit and activated both my creation purpose and the book of truth. Wisdom. I gained profound wisdom when you revealed the truth about why you allowed Wolfie to be shot and how that moment formed part of your greater design. Understanding. I received deep understanding through the Riddle events, where Captain Riddle became your chosen instrument of mystery, revealing layers of your hidden work. Counsel. Through the Lost in France event, you showed me that this was a significant sacrifice I had to make in order to deliver truth to a person unwilling to receive counsel. Might. The tornado scene vividly displayed your might, showing how far you will go to capture a person's attention and redirect their path. Knowledge. Although I had no awareness at the time about the destructive nature of a Jezebel spirit, the Jack the Ripper event became a source of tremendous knowledge and spiritual discernment. Fear of the Lord. This element marked the Lewinsky event, which propelled me into the great tsunami of my life, the very beginning of my walk with you, filled with a reverential fear of who you are and the overwhelming love with which you rescued me. Thank you, Father, Creator of all, and Yeshua, for this walk of remembrance with Wolfie, through which you have also shown your bride a deeper way to reflect on her lightning events, connecting them with the elements of your spirit. You said this morning that this book is coming to an end, and indeed it has taken 37 days. When you told me the book was nearing its conclusion, you drew my attention to the number 37 as the number of lashes you receive. People often assume it was 39 lashes. Is it true that you received 37?
Yes, it was 37 lashes.
I do apologize for what mankind did to you. Humanity seems to know only cruelty when they inflict deliberate harm on others. When I think about my own experience, when Wolfie was shot, the emotional trauma was overwhelming. Now imagine that same cruelty directed at a human being. Why would anyone do such a thing? Although I understand that the 37 lashes and your crucifixion were your own lightning event, I want to apologize to you. After everything you did, after the life you lived for mankind, it is striking how quickly people can reject you and your truth. Just as you once said to the Father,
Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
likewise, I ask you to forgive those who reject you and your truth, and I pray that you will open the hearts of your people to understanding. Open their eyes and ears so they may hear what your Spirit is saying. For those who receive your truth, you will give them access to the mystery of the treasures of your heart.
This truly was a walk of remembrance. And what happens to Wolfie next, in the first chapter of Mystery of the Secrets of His Heart, will leave you in both awe and shock, as a profound mystery concerning Wolfie, directly linked to Jesus, is unveiled. This final revelation, case solved, mystery of the treasures of his heart, stands as a witness. The bride is being made ready. The covenant is open, and the one who calls her says even now,
I love you, my bride.